one we'll be looking at is the third question, which says that calculate the overall average mark scored by students using average function. Overall average by student using average function. Now, talking of the average, if you want to calculate for each of the student average score, you type average score by each of the students. So let me represent the average with AVE in order to maximize my space. Now, average score by student, you also start, and I've said that any calculation you want to do in Excel, you start with equal to or plus, but preferably we make use of equal to. Now, you start with equal to, then type average, and if you look at when I type AVE, Excel give me some information, so which is telling me that I should type my average full. So that means I'm going to type average, then bracket. So we have talked about the range in Excel before, which is very, very important for us to know. So we make use of the range here because we want to calculate the average of each of the average score by each of the students, and this is between column the C to E. So I'm going to use C7 because that's no C6, sorry, C6 colon, where I'm going to stop E6, then you close the bracket because that is my average. I'm starting from the 12 to 36 to 38, so you use the range. The range is our C6 colon E6. It means C6, D6 and E6. Then you press enter key, and this is average score by the first student, Adeola. And as I've said, you can equally use this by taking your pointer to the dot to the dot at the bottom right. Click and drag it down. You can see you can centralize it if you want. So this is the average score by each of the students. But if you want to calculate the total average score by all the students, you can say total average, that means by all students. Then you also start with equal to average, then bracket, then you take it from G. You can do it in two ways. If I don't want to use this, I can make use, okay, let me use this, equal to G 6 colon G 16, because that's where our student ends. And you can see Excel has supposed to alert it, then you press enter. That means this is the total average by all students. Another way you can do this is by saying total average equals to, you also start with average bracket. So instead of using column G, I'm going to start from the first score C6 colon, then I will end it at the last score, that is where I have this 38, which is E16. You can see it has taken all day, then you press enter. You can see we arrive at the same answer. So it depends on the way you understand how you can manipulate your Excel, but it is better to use the simpler way that will make your work fast. Okay, so that is on the average score by the student. Now let's look at the next question, which says that is number 4, which says that the overall minimum mark scored by student using minimum function. Now this is saying the overall minimum mark scored by student. That is, you are not talking of, that is, you look at the scores of all the students and it's asking us to find the minimum score by the student, the minimum score by the student. So it's not by individual student but the entire student. So we can say minimum score. Then you do the same thing, equals to, you type minimum, and you can see Excel always help us to give us an hint on how we are going to type the formula, and it's giving us minute. So the one we have to use is min. So then you open the bracket, then use your cell range. We're starting from the cell C6 colon, then you look at where to end it. This one will exclude the total. It will exclude the total score, because the total score is the addition of the attendance, the practical, and the examination. If you are asked to calculate the minimum score, the minimum total score, then you can take into consideration only the total. But we are asked to look for the minimum score from all the scores, from the attendance, practical, examination combined. So we said C6 colon E16, because E16 is where we have the end of the score. So then you close the bracket and press enter. It means that if you look at the figures that we have, the minimum score is 12, and this is scored by student Adiola AG in C6. Okay, but assuming you are asked to look at the minimum score, the minimum total score, so the minimum total score is different from the minimum score by all students. The total minimum score, the formula will be different. The formula you are going to use will be equals to minimum bracket, then you are going to take into consideration only the column G, whereby we have the G from G6 colon G16. So that is where our I'm sorry, we are talking of the total minimum score. So we are going to use F6 colon F16. Okay, then you press enter. It means that if you look at our score or the column where we have the minimum score, the total minimum score is 85, and which is scored by the second student with number 002, who is Charles M.M. Okay, so you can see this is how we calculate the minimum score. So you have to understand the question very well. Now let's look at the next question. The next question says that was to calculate the overall maximum score by student using maximum function. Calculate the overall maximum mark score by student using maximum function. So this is also like what we have done before. The maximum score by the student maximum maximum score. We are asked to look at the entire figure and look at the maximum score. The maximum score, though you might do this for the total if it is for the total, but let's do it for the attendance, the practical and the examination by saying equal to, you start by typing maximum, then bracket, but you are not typing this maximum in full. You type just max, then you open the bracket, then start from the first cell, which is C6 colon, then colon where the score ends at E16, because we are taking into consideration the attendance score, the practical score and the examination score, excluding the total. So that's why we type equal to max, where that max stands for maximum, bracket C6 colon, the dot means colon, E16, then you close the bracket, then press enter. So if you look at this, it's telling us that the maximum score by student is 48, which appear in cell D15. But if we are to consider only the total maximum score by the student, then we can do that this way, because it will not give us the same thing. Total maximum score, you start with equal to, type the maximum function, that is max, bracket, you open the bracket, then we are taking only the total column into consideration. Now we start from the F6 colon F16, then you close the bracket, then press enter. That is 99. So if you look at the total, where we have the score under the total, we can see that the maximum score is 99 by Okechukwu M.M, which appear in F10. Okay, so you understand the question. Now let's look at the next question. The next question says that we should count all the student marks enter, excluding total marks, average, minimum and maximum marks. It asks us to count all the student marks entered, excluding total marks, average, minimum and maximum mark. So what this is telling us is that we should count all this, excluding the total, the average and others. So these are what we are asked to do. We should count all this. And how do we do that? We can equally come and put it maybe underneath this, say the total score enter, total scores entered, that is total score recorded, apart from the so we are taking into consideration the attendance, the practical and the examination. So we are not taking into consideration the total and all others. And you start the same way, equals to, then the count function is count, count. You can see it has given us the count, then we put the bracket, count, we are going to make use of the same range. 66 colon C colon E16 colon E16 colon E16 E16, because that's where the score ends. Then you press enter. It means that we have 33 scores entered. 33 scores entered. This enables us to verify. Maybe we have entered wrongly. Either we have entered more than the number of students. And if you count, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. You have 11 here also. You have 11 here also. If you add all this together, you are having 11 plus 11, 22. 22 plus 11, you have 33. It means that we have used Excel to count the number of the scores that we have. So thank you for listening, and you can see that what we have done here, we have been able to make use of Excel to simplify our work. We have been able to make use of Excel to calculate the total mark, the average, the minimum, the maximum, and we have used the Excel to count the total figure that we have. You may have similar works too. This is the same way you are going to work them out. So thank you for listening. Please do not forget to subscribe, share and like. Okay, thanks.